Well. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's Thursday night, and the beards are back. And I can't get excited. I just, I can't why? Why should I be excited? Why? So I am your main man, Mayhem. With me, as always, Monty. How are you doing?
What's going on, guys? Doing all right. Houston just won up on West Virginia, so that wasn't great. I was feeling way better a few minutes ago, but I'm doing all right.
So last week, we were getting ready to roll and immediately had some kind of technical difficulties where I could not hear Monty at all. He could hear me just fine. Internet connections was fine. And by the way, it's never been my internet. It was always my laptop. So, because right now I'm on my phone. Let's put it all out there on Front Street. Could not hear Monty. Intro worked fine. All the videos worked fine. No, it was pantomime on the other end. Just I can't. So we couldn't go. We couldn't go. So what we couldn't do is talk about the disappointment that was the Seattle Seahawks game. And you know what? We're still not going to talk about it because I don't want to talk about it. What we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about the disappointment that we're all looking forward to Sunday night against Buffalo. And I know for a fact that some people are going to get real upset by the thumbnail that I put the Buffalo Bill logo sacking Daniel Jones because why the hell not? That's what they do.
Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. Also,
So,
shout out.
Oh, K
Shout out
Sexy is in the
Sexy.
house.
Yep, he's
Doctor
here.
K Sexy, if you
Cheers.
nasty. Cheers to you, brother. It's good to see you. Oh, it's all the gray. This is what the New York Giants do to me. I'm on vacation. The Miami game was on my birthday, and I had to sit through that nonsense. What did I get for my birthday? I got 3 turnovers and absolutely no offense.
Yep.
I got a 102-yard pick six and absolutely no offense. And nothing. And then now we're gonna hear it. I'm gonna hear but Sarge, but Sarge, the offensive line is so bad and Daniel Jones can't. Hey, you know what? CJ Stroud, the rookie, is missing 3 starters on his offensive line and look pretty damn good. Granted, they lost, but they still look pretty damn good.
Yep.
I mean, it's hard. I know it's hard. I know. We're thick-headed people because we're Giants fans. And we've been Giants fans our entire life. And we're thick-headed because we can't get it through our thick skulls that A and B can be true. Daniel Jones can play bad, and the offensive line can suck. Both things can be true, and we've talked about this, Monty. We've talked about this. And I'm a little, I see all the nonsense going around on Twitter,
There's a lot.
and I just don't get involved.
I do.
I can't. Because I'm not going to get into a battle of wits with somebody who is obviously unarmed. I'm not going to do it. Monty, I know you've not been picking fights. You haven't been starting them, but you damn sure have been finishing them this week.
Yeah, I've been instigating a little bit. I mean, not direct to the people, but I've been taking shot at a lot of people's Lord and Savior in Daniel Jones this last couple of weeks. Yeah, and it's just a dirty circle that I ended up trying to like describe. Most people are on board with it. Is all it is what I'm doing is I see all these people on Twitter who are defending Daniel Jones and refuse to give him any sort of criticism when I'm just sitting here like, look, guys, nobody's fucking saying the offensive line isn't a problem. It's a problem. but can we acknowledge like this isn't good? Like this isn't good. Like you can fucking criticize your quarterback, but it's but then on the other side, they see like me and other people going hard because of that. We feel like, yeah, maybe it's not all Daniel Jones' fault, but we need to get it through your skull that this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. And they flip it and they're like, no, I got to go over the top to defend this guy because these guys are going after him too hard. And it just goes over and over and over and over. It just keeps repeating.
All right, so you know what? I'm going to go a little inside baseball here. Bonnie and I jumped on the stream early to make sure we weren't having any technical difficulties. Okay? Everything was great. We talked about what we were going to do on the show. And as soon as we went live, I can't hear a word he's saying.
No.
But you know what? I can hear every other word as long as he's talking right into the mic. So we're just going to power through. We're just going to power through. And this will be really fun because I get to learn how to read lips on the fly. I don't know what's going on.
I'll go a little bit above, maybe. We'll see.
Oh, right there, you're perfect. Right there is perfect. Yeah. All
right.
I caught what you were saying, though. I caught what you were saying. How it's you have to. There is no de-escalation on Twitter. Everybody on Twitter, and I'm not going to call it X because let's face it, it's stupid. There is no. I have great de-escalation skills. I've been to classes on how to de-escalate situations. I've worked with, people who have behavioral problems. I work with people who just, it's ugly and people just can't. Thank you, buddy. I think we're good. I think we got it now, but I think we're good. But what I'm saying is I have those kind of skills. I have certifications. There's no point because you're just banging your head up against a brick wall because everybody is going to die on their own little hill. And when they realize that they're dying on their own little hill, it's not that high, guys. This is your hill right about here. Okay? You're going to die on this hill. I don't think so. Pick a bigger battle.
Yeah. And let's go. I have no problem with any individual person on Twitter with this. It's just the whole Daniel Jones Giants thing. The Giants they've ruined me. They've broken me. This whole thing. I put all my trust into Joe Shane and Brian Dable. Would be like, go ahead. You're not going to let me down. I believe in whatever you're going to do. And they totally fucking broke me. So now I just don't want to hear any defense for this shit. The one thing I will hear is like, I don't want to overreact in the sense of like let's not fire these coaches that we thought were good coaches like a few months ago. With people that we already had question marks, I'm all in on being like, get the fuck rid of it. But like, all of a sudden people are like, yep, nope, let's get rid of Brian Dable or Wink Martindale or Mike Kafka. I'm like, guys, we love these guys like 2 months ago. Let's calm down. If you hated a guy or didn't like him or didn't necessarily know what to think, then go ahead. But I don't know. Which I get, to be fair, on the Daniel Jones side, to be fair, they should probably be preaching the same thing as I'm realizing. It's because they believed him before, they believe in him now, I guess. But I don't know. It's not going to fucking matter when we get to the end of the season if we have pick one or two.
Yeah. So I don't know. You and Smooth touched on it earlier this afternoon about again what you just said. It's like everybody's out here with the most outlandish shit. Like, let's fire everybody. Let's burn it all down again. And I don't really think that's going to happen. Because, and you said this afternoon, we are on Cleveland Browns. We are on the Cleveland Browns trajectory of being that bad as far as the turnover of the coaching staff. And oh wait, that was something else I listened to this afternoon. I don't think that was you. But it was the same point. It's the same point. I do agree. Like Brian Dable just won a playoff game. 9-7-1, just won a playoff game. Coach of the year. So what if he has a bad year this year? Okay, they're not going to fire him, guys. They're not going to do it. Okay, they're just not going to do it. They're not going to fire Joe Shane. They're not going to fire Brian Dable. They're probably not going to fire Wink. They're not going to fire Mike Kafka because these guys are not getting job interviews this offseason. Let's face it. Last year they were the hot shit, and this year you could just take the hot out. It's just shit. What we need to do is maybe, I don't know, take a look at some of our positional coaches and maybe get some new ones there.
Yep.
And I'm not going to say offensive line again. Well, I know we're all talking about the offensive line coach. So, and also, special teams coordinator who will no longer be named on this show.
And
so,
look, just before you move on, just to say off that is like, look, I'm not calling for Brian Dable or Mike Kafka or Wink Martindale's job, but it doesn't mean you don't have to not criticize them. They deserve criticism for what's going on. And I'll say one with Brian Dable is the fact that every day that these incompetent assistant coaches and coordinators of not offense or defense, not naming names, are still on the roster and you're not replacing them and it's causing dysfunction and players not develop, that directly falls on the Brian Dable, regardless if, he's the one causing it, he's allowing it to happen. So I will say that is probably my number one indictment for Brian Dable right now. Could you hear me there?
No. I heard a lot. I'm like, every other word here, Dable, Dable, up. And I'm like, all right, cool. We're cooking. All right. I got you. We're good. I can almost read lips, but you're really, really small. So
you're good.
We're powering through here, guys, because it's live. We're live and we're not going to quit because I know as soon as I end the stream, I'll be able to hear him no problem. This is what you get when you get live shit.
This is along the lines of what I was saying.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's big picture stuff. Everybody talks about it's that 50,000 foot view. It's the big picture stuff. Yeah, what are they going to do this month? Well, hopefully they'll start trading some players. Start acquiring assets.
Potentially, hopefully, either firing a coach, maybe, I don't know, like Bobby Johnson, or at the very least, bringing in a consultant. This is the one point I've made this over and over again, but I'll just drive it home here. The one guy who I keep saying the Giants absolutely should bring in to help this offensive line is the same guy we brought in a couple years ago in David Googe. I can never pronounce it, but Googe.
Yeah.
Because
it's good. Googe. You bring in Googe.
There's so many connections, dude. One, he worked with Bobby Johnson in Indianapolis. There's not going to be some weird tension. They've worked in coaching staff together. Bobby Johnson was his assistant offensive line coach. He's worked with Mark Lewinsky before. He's worked with Andrew Thomas before. He's worked with Brian Dable on 2 separate coaching staffs. Joe Shane worked in a front office while he was in Miami. Like, there's so many connections. He is sitting on the streets right now, and he's a good coach. Maybe he's an asshole, but just bring him in and try to help develop these guys.
I think that's what we need. We need more assholes on this team. We're all talking about smart, tough, dependable. You know what? You can be smart, tough, and dependable and still be an asshole.
Yeah.
Case in point, this guy right here. So, Jay, I know you're saying trade who, nobody's worth much, but that's the thing, is you don't need to get much. Like, if somebody came in, like, called Joe Shane and said, hey, I know Xavier McKinney's in a contract year. What do you think about, offloading him for a 4th round pick? I'll take it. Because you can turn these later round picks, you can punch them together to move up, or you can trade down and acquire more picks, but we don't want to do that because we want to stay high.
But
Yeah.
he brought up a good point though, is they are in comp pick territory too. So
Yeah.
the one thing you do have to weigh when you trade these guys is what do you think you'll get in a comp pick? Because don't get me wrong, comp picks aren't guaranteed. So if you can take a little bit less and get a guaranteed pick, I think you do that. But and then you can save some money. There's definitely positives of just getting rid of these guys, even if you lose maybe a little bit. Like let's say you think that a guy can bring back a third round comp pick, and you'll take a fourth because it's a late third anyway. You save some money, it's guaranteed. But like there's certain guys like Saquon Barkley, for example. I don't know how much he brings back in a comp pick just because the running back market's so bad. So I think maybe you get a fifth round to him in the comp pick, and I think you can get more in the fifth through trade. Like Adoree Jackson, I think he probably gets like 10 to 12 million. So that's probably like a fourth, fifth round pick. I think you can get a fourth, fifth round pick in a trade. Now, Leonard Williams, I don't know if you can get a third, fourth round pick in a trade for Leonard Williams, but I'll tell you what, he hits free agent. I bet you he gets between 60 and $20 million. That's just where this interior defensive line market's at. So that's where it is tough. It's like, do I trade Leonard Williams if I know I just can hold out for the rest of this year and get a good comp pick, even though I have to eat, like another $9 million in salary by not trading him? It's a tough line to walk. Yeah, and that's the other.
Yeah, KC brings up a good point. But the thing is, I don't think there's going to be a situation where, we watched Joe Shane this offseason, offer pretty moderate contracts, and we didn't get any kind of comp picks for the guys who left. But we're not going to go out and we're not going to break the bank on free agents. That's not the way Joe Shane operates.
Yeah, but
we may sign a couple guys, but if there's nothing in there that says that we're going to really kind of open up the contract, open up the pocketbook for, any particular free agent, unless it's a big name free agent who's like some kind of weapon that we can use. Like, I don't know, isn't Justin Jefferson in the list? Isn't he at the end of his deal and he's going on IR? So who knows when he'll be back?
I think he still has a fifth year, but like T. Higgins is available, but he's not going to hit free agency. The two guys, I'll say it out loud. The two guys I'll keep my eye on is one, Robert Hunt from Miami Dolphins, the right guard. He absolutely mauled DJ Davidson. I put that clip on my timeline. He mauled him. He's a really good guard. And Mike Nweu, I think is how you pronounce it. He's the Patriots guard, and he is a very good player. Yep, there you go. I didn't even see that, but Robert Hunt and Mike Nweu, I think is how you say it, something like that, are both very good player. You think, man? Maybe he's gotten better every single year. I don't think he has the pedigree that Thuney has, but he's getting to that level of play this year. But it's it's going to be kind of his first year, I think, of playing at that high of a level.
Jay, I think this is where you're wrong. We're not going to spend more money on offensive linemen unless we get a new coach, because we've already seen that, and we talked about this the last time we were on a couple weeks ago, is that these guys were serviceable to almost elite in college. When they show up here and just tank, I don't think that has to do with skill or a decline in skill or not being able to keep up with. Oh, here we go. That's exactly how that sounds. That's fine. I love it. Yeah. No, because that's the thing is, obviously, there's a problem with development of offensive linemen. Apparently, there's been a problem with the development of offensive linemen for 40 years now. We haven't had a decent offensive line.
I'll
don't know,
say
man.
I'd be shocked if Bobby Johnson is here next year. Be shocked.
So were you betting on a new?
Oh,
Oh,
there you
yeah.
go. Yep. Yes, I am.
Oh, yeah.
So one thing I'll say, also, I saw before Peter is in here. Shout out Peter. Glad to have you here. Um, the one thing I'll say, I've been having a little bit of a theory about this recently. It feels like almost every single off season, the Giants have like one agreed on clear problem that all the fans, all the writers, everybody's like, that's our main problem. And it seems like every single time we address it in some shape or form. And I feel like right now, every single Giants fan is like, the offensive line's a problem, but the coach is a problem. We have a problem with our offensive line coaching, especially what we spent on a guy like Evan Neal draft capital wise. So I think we'll see who we can get here and who we can lure in, but it would not surprise me if we made a major play at a guy like Mike Munchak. I know he wants to stay on the West Coast. He's made that very clear. But if you threw like a $3 to $4 million a year contract at him to be maybe like an associate head coach / offensive line coach, I really think they're going to make a play and they're going to try to get maybe a Sharon Moore from Michigan, some really big name offensive line coach. And I think that changes a lot. And the one other thing I wanted to also say with that was what Jay said. So you think Niels isn't getting moved inside? I don't know.
I don't think so.
So this is what I think will happen and what I think should happen. I think what's going to happen is they're going to get a new offensive line coach. They're going to attempt to move Neal or keep Neal outside, but I think they're going to spend on a high-end swing tackle. So not necessarily like a guy that like I'll spend a lot of money, but like an example would be like a Leo Collins at this point in his career. Something like that, with lack of better examples off the top of my head. It was like, I don't think it's going to be a Jonah Williams, let's say. Like, it's not going to be that level. But I think there will be somebody who has plenty of, like the Mike Remmers of the world that we've signed in the past. Something along those lines where though we can trust them to play tackle if Neal isn't ready, and then he'll move inside and try to figure out what he's doing there. He'll probably get a little bit of practice in off season, but that's where I'm thinking where this thing's going. Yeah. It's
I mean, all right. Tough. So I think we like screaming about the offensive line long enough.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's about that time. So I figure we're going to bring in Monty. Can we even really call her a guest now? Because she's been on more this season than Smooth has.
This is true.
The fourth member of the Big Blue Beards crew. For the pick, we're going to do picks, and then we'll talk about Buffalo with our guest.
Quote unquote.
Everybody, say hi to Mal. Mal.
Hey guys.
How are we doing?
How you guys doing?
Doing good. How are you doing?
Yeah, can't complain. Hanging in there.
I see you got Thursday Night Football on in the back.
Oh yeah, always.
So this is going to get real interesting because I don't know if you caught any of this beforehand, but Monty and I were on earlier just to make sure that we didn't have any technical difficulties like we did last week. And as soon as we went live, I stopped being able to hear.
Oh, really?
So we've been doing I've been like, yeah, okay, cool. And then I ask a question and I wait for him to stop talking. And I go, and I'm basically depending on the chat.
Right.
Tell me what he's saying.
Make sure. Oh, that's
watching this back later is going to be hysterical. By the way, okay.
I'm gonna put my cursor on the pick that I'm making, so you can see it too.
Well, the funny thing is, Monty, is now that Mal is in here, I can hear you better.
There you go. That's all we needed.
I don't get it. I don't understand it. This is what happens when you do these things live. Okay, so last week we didn't do picks. Well, I did picks and Smooth did picks and Mal did picks, but Monty didn't send me his picks. So I'm gonna have to take a vote from the group as to whether or not we just give Monty a big fat 0 for last week. Doesn't really seem fair, but I'm willing to do that. We'll talk in the group chat that we have now about whether or not Monty takes a big fat 0.
All right.
Figure it out.
Okay, so we all picked Kansas City tonight, obviously, but we are rooting for Denver. We want Denver to play better. I don't really care who wins this game. I just want Travis Kelce to do well, and not for Taylor Swift, but for my own purposes because I do have him in fantasy. I don't care who wins. I just want Travis Kelce to score me at least 20.
That's where I'm at.
Thank you, buddy. So, in my hand, I'm just going to read off Smooths real quick while Monty throws up the Monty, you want to throw up the schedule for this week, for week 6?
Yep, I gotcha.
So obviously, I don't have point totals for everybody throughout because I did not really do the point totals because Monty didn't send me picks. So we'll talk about that later on. Okay, so we're going to save the Giants game until the end. All right, so we all tonight picked Kansas City. Smooth went Titans, Falcons, Bengals, Jags, Dolphins, Bears, 49ers, Texans, Raiders, Lions, Rams, Eagles, Chargers, and then Bills. And then I went Ravens, Commanders, Bengals, Colts, Miami, Bears, because we're all Bears fans again. Third year in a row, we're all Bears fans again. 49ers, Texans, Patriots, Lions, Rams, Eagles, Chargers, Bills. So, Mal, since you are tied for first still, why don't you go first?
All right. So I'm going Ravens, Falcons, Bears, Bengals, San Francisco, Miami. I'm going to go Jacksonville, Houston. I'm going to go Vegas.
Okay, now I can't hear Mal. Just keep going, Mal.
Vegas.
And I'll get these all later.
And then I'm going to go Rams, Philly, Detroit, and Bills, and Dallas.
She went Rams, Philly, Detroit, Bills, Dallas.
Perfect.
I don't know if you can hear me either, but
Right. Monty, you go.
All right. Okay. So I am going Kansas City tonight. As you know, I'm going Baltimore. I'm going to go Atlanta. I'm going to go Minnesota, who I actually think we need to worry about more right now in this tank. I'm going to go Bengals.
This tank.
Yeah, in the tank season. San Francisco, Miami Dolphins, Jacksonville Jaguars, New Orleans Saints, Las Vegas Raiders, Los Angeles Rams, Philadelphia Eagles, Detroit Lions, Buffalo Bills, and Los Angeles Chargers. Did you get all that?
No, but I'll get it later. No, Jay, this is straight up. We're just picking winners. We don't really care about the spread. I suck at sports betting, so we don't really worry about the spread. Or otherwise, we would have given spreads. We would talk more about that kind of stuff, but I'm horrible at it. I never win any money, so I don't care about point spreads. We're just picking winners. This is just for bragging rights.
Yep. Also,
Love it.
And we're not going to talk about how bad Mal beat me in fantasy a couple weeks ago,
I've had a rough stretch the past 2 weeks.
or how bad I beat Monty. But anyway,
oh my God! After scoring the most points in League Week 1, it's been a rough.
Monty
run.
had a rough one because Anthony Richardson got taken out early in that game, and it was rough.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, Monty, we can get rid of the schedule.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we're going to kind of keep this short. We're probably going to go maybe another 10 minutes or so because, Monty's trying to watch his alma mater, and I'm standing, so I just kind of want to stop soon. So we're going to talk. We're on to Buffalo. So very interesting. I don't know if you guys saw this the other night. Monty was in the chat with me. New York Revival, shout out to those guys, had a Jay Spence, the King, on, who has the Buffalo Rumblings podcast, which I did check out. Hefe and Glass Half Full on their show, and it was a good show. It was a lot of fun to listen to. But basically, I was in the chat and I said, if the Giants win, LPG gets to put Jay Spence through a table, and he agreed. And so did LPG. And they're going to hook that up later on in the season. So I think LPG's mentioned some Shawn Michaels shit or something like that. But we're going to put a Buffalo content creator through a table. So stay tuned for that.
So basically, we need this win for that to happen?
I mean, I don't know if obviously they're not going to win, so that's an easy bet to make.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, true.
Must win.
So
Win.
So we're talking about Buffalo, and I know they're pretty banged up on defense, but our offense can't score points, so it really doesn't matter how banged up they are.
Yep.
It's trending towards Daniel Jones not starting.
Yeah.
So we're getting a Tyrod Taylor revenge game, which it's funny on the two shows, on Revival and on Buffalo Rumblings. Jay Spence says he would give them more points if Tyrod plays as opposed to Daniel Jones. Granted, it's only 4 more points, but it's still more points. So he said, I think the score he said was 38-24.
Wow.
Which sounds about right. I mean, think about it. Like when Tyrod came in the game last week, he actually started moving the offense a little.
Yeah.
He had a little more escapability, and knows when to slide as opposed to, taking big hits. But I can't, and here's the other thing too, is my in-laws are huge Buffalo fans. So I know I'm going to be at work for this game. And my phone is just going to ping, ping, ping with text messages going, what the hell is going on? Granted, my in-laws don't curse, but, just something like that. And I'm just going to be like, well, we suck this year. Good job. This is your get-right game after London.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And that was the thing. I thought that, before the season, I was looking at the schedule. I'm like, ooh, they're playing in London the week before. Like, this could be like a sneaky game with the Brian Dable revenge game. And then I've seen how we've been playing. And I'm like, probably not enough.
Are you invoking the London hangover?
I was trying to.
It's not going to happen.
But not this time. That's not going to work.
And then, of course, because, we're going to get dog walked again this week, everybody's got to make a giant deal out of everything that's said in press conference.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Wink and Brian Dable both compliment Josh Allen in press conferences, and all of a sudden it's just like, oh, this and that. And I'm just, and again, banging my head up against the wall. I just can't do it. But, you have to admit, though, when they asked him the question about Brian Dable in the press conference, he got a little, that same wistful look that Monty gets when he talks about West Virginia wide receivers. Just that look in his eye.
Bryce Ford Wheaton.
You start talking about Bryce Ford Wheaton, and Monty just gets all starry-eyed like he's got a schoolgirl crush or whatever. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm having a hard time getting hyped for this, other than the fact that I'm probably going to be a Bills fan during the playoffs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you guys think about the Daniel Jones neck thing? Do you think he'll play, or where are you guys at?
No, I don't think he'll play.
What about you,
He
Sarge?
shouldn't.
Do you think he'll play? Do you think Daniel Jones will
About
play?
who? No,
Daniel, no.
no.
Mm-mm.
No, he hasn't practiced all week.
Yeah.
No.
I don't
And
think
it's his neck again.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if you saw clips on Twitter today about like the press conference, somebody was posting like little video clips and like you can see bruises on his neck, and it's like, that's pretty obvious that those are cupping. Yeah. But it's like if he's doing that to try to relieve the pain in his neck, I mean, you're not gonna. I mean, really, we know we're gonna get beat.
Right.
Sit him. There's no reason to rush him out there and potentially get hurt again. You know?
Yeah.
I mean,
They
give
have
him
the most
another
sacks
week.
in the league,
Let him, come back against Washington, who we own, or we own Washington. Great.
Awesome.
We're the third best team in our division. Awesome. And I don't even know if that's true this year.
Yeah, we'll see this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I don't think he's going to play. But my concern is if he doesn't play this week, I don't know when he's coming back in general, because it just feels so eerie to like in 2021 where it was like, oh yeah, nah, he's good, don't worry about it. And he practiced that year. This year he's not even practicing, and all of a sudden he got shut down. We're like, oh, that kind of came out of nowhere, and there was a carpenter telling us that it was going to happen. Nobody believed him. But what do you guys think about the idea of Tyrod Taylor starting versus Daniel Jones? Do you think that there's any advantage of having Tyrod opposed to Daniel Jones at this point?
Did you say if there's any advantage to have Tyrod start?
Like over Daniel Jones? Do you think?
I mean, obviously, it's advantage number one is you're not paying Tyrod $40 million, and everybody blah 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 contract
just versus them,
whatever. Because here's the thing: is like the last thing you want is you don't want to put your $40 million quarterback out there to get his neck fucking twisted around.
Yeah.
Because you don't put Daniel Jones back out there. Honestly, here's the thing, and I'm going to put my beer down because I'm going to go two hands in. Right, the Italian is coming out. We're not going to put Daniel Jones out there unless Andrew Thomas is playing. At this point in time, Josh Azudu has proved that he is a liability at left tackle, and no fault for on the guy. He's out there doing his damnedest, and he's sulking or crying in his locker after games because he got the quarterback hurt. That's a lot of pressure to put on that kid who's playing out of position. They rotate guys all preseason and all during training camp and blah, blah, blah. Just because we rotate them doesn't mean they're any good. That's the thing. He was doing his damnedest out there. He's trying his hardest. He was doing pretty well here and there, but, he still also, damn near got Daniel decapitated, right? Daniel Jones's pocket awareness has always been an issue. Last year, it looked a lot better. We thought he was improving, and then just took an absolute total nosedive. So you don't put Daniel out there unless Andrew Thomas is playing, right? The rest of the line be damned. If Andrew Thomas is not on the field, you do not put your franchise quarterback out there because he's going to get killed, right? He's going to get killed. Tyrod is a seasoned veteran who's had just bad luck. Let's face it, just bad luck. I was listening. I was listening to some Buffalo stuff. He's not a guy who's going to lose you games. Mm-hmm. You may not win, but he's not a guy who's going to lose the game for you. He knows what he's doing. He makes good decisions. He'll know. He can feel that pressure coming and not overreact to it. He'll throw the ball away. He'll try to scramble a little bit because Tyrod's got legs, but he's going to be a little smarter when there's pressure in his face. He's not just going to crumble. He's not going to take as many sacks as Daniel does. Mm-hmm. And unless Andrew Thomas is playing, unless he wakes up miraculously Saturday and his hamstring feels 100%, you don't put Daniel out there unless Andrew Thomas is out there. You just don't do it.
Yeah.
So that's your benefit, is you're not going to get the kid killed.
So
Yeah.
So here's my take on it a little bit, where I could see an advantage of Tyrod starting for us. It's not going to make much of a difference. This team isn't any good, but I'll say, like, don't get me wrong, I think Daniel Jones is a better quarterback than Tyrod Taylor, and I think it's pretty clear. But I think at this point, Daniel Jones has absolutely zero confidence left. It's
Yeah.
so clear that he has no confidence, and it's affecting his play. I think Tyrod coming in as a fresh quarterback who doesn't totally had his confidence zapped, a guy who plays a little bit better off script than Daniel Jones does. He's more of a play within the structure of the system type of quarterback. And the revenge game aspect of it, where he's playing against, his former team. I think you might be able to get a little bit more out of Tyrod just from those aspects. So yeah, I mean, I don't think it matters that much at the end of the day, but if I was just, looking at it, like kind of mentioned with the line, where you're going to put the line, I think I would move it a little bit better in Tyrod's advantage, at least at this point, because Daniel Jones he doesn't seem like the same quarterback right now.
Yeah. Seems defeated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he seems crushed. So
Yeah.
maybe we'll see where this next thing takes him, but maybe a couple weeks off would be good for him. Who knows?
Yeah.
All right. So as we're getting ready to wrap it up, I don't want to do score predictions. Not this week.
Yeah.
I'm good.
I'm good too.
A lot to a little.
Yeah.
A lot to a little.
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty good way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joe Shane revenge game.
Ryan Dable revenge game. Hey, let's get Cole Beasley back into the active roster. Cole Beasley revenge game.
Didn't they?
Revenge game.
They activated him off the pup. He could play. You never know.
Yeah, he's on the practice squad off pup.
Maybe he'll be our emergency quarterback after Tommy DeVito.
Did you see it was going to be Paris Campbell?
That's probably right. You're
That was
probably
crazy.
right.
Yeah, that would have been crazy to see.
Watch Paris Campbell fuck around and win this game.
Let him cook.
No, yeah, because we all know Tyrod's going to do some kind of weird spin move and get a concussion in the first quarter, and then Tommy DeVito will play the rest of the game and probably win.
About it.
All right, Mal, thanks for stopping in. We appreciate you as always. I am
Thank you
going
for
to drop
having
you
me.
out. Anytime, Mal. Anytime. All right, and we'll see you next week. We'll get you.
Yes.
We'll get you back in for picks next week.
Absolutely.
All right.
Nah.
So here we go. So as we're kind of wrapping up, so we're not going to do score predictions because we don't want to. And you know what? I really don't have much else to say. Primarily because whatever Monty's closing statement is, I won't be able to hear it. And I don't understand it. I don't understand it. The troubleshooting, it's just our stream right now is much like the Giants season. Thank you, Jay. You're lying, but thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So, with that, we're going to wrap things up. I am your main man, Mayhem, and I'm just not excited about anything right now. Actually, might get on medication for that. Oh, wait, I feel better.
There you go.
And for Monty, we will see you next week. Guys, do not forget, I'm going to do this because I always forget. Do not forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know where we go live. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter. The handles are right there. They don't change. Big Blue Beards. And we will see you all next week when we talk about another depressing loss. Good night, fellas.
Night. Caleb's a giant.